interesting time we live in. Starts conversation talking about the one thing nobody wants to really, not nobody, like most folks don't even sit down and really think and process this through. They often overlook it because the fear of actually knowing like kills them. At least is what the perspective that I'm seeing it is. People only run from things that they feel are gonna physically harm them in a way that they're gonna end their life. So a lot of people don't want to open themselves to greater understanding. The greater understanding that comes beyond us as humans. We are just here to experience something, and we're not supposed to stay here forever. This is a stopping. You stop, you get things done, you share the words, and then you move on. A lot of people are really afraid to move on. Because if they move on, they end up losing their labels. If you lose your label, that means you gotta start all over again and create new labels. And this is what the folks that like labels. Because that's a cycle a lot of people live on. A lot of people live on labels. There are this, or there are that, or you do this, or you do that. It's an interesting thing. It's like I've been going down this rabbit hole and I'm like following these things, and the more I notice, the more I'm realizing, the more I understand where I'm coming from. Where I don't like I always say I don't like humans. But I'm figuring out that I don't like a certain type of human. Because there's a certain type of human that I'm aware that they are not good. They're not good for us. And they do things, very sneaky motive, play the victimhood, and try to pretend like, oh no, it's your fault. You did this to yourself. Which often a lot of people do a lot of shit to themselves. But if your environment is designed for you to do these things to yourself, how are you supposed to better yourself unless you're aware of what your environment is doing? Which most people are not even aware of what the environment is doing to themselves. A lot of people follow all these false prophets and all these false idols and blah, blah, blah. The list goes on. But that's because they don't know right from wrong. If you don't teach somebody right from wrong, they can never really figure out how to better themselves. How are you supposed to better yourself if you're not telling me what I'm doing wrong? You're just telling me that I'm wrong. That's the problem in our society. Everybody complains about problems, but nobody fixes problems. Which is like a weird thing to see. But what these folks, the humans I don't like, decided to do is that they sell you an illusion to tell you that you could better your life by doing X, Y, and Z. But they know in that process, you're going to do a lot of harm to yourself. And then you become a sick folk. And then you pass the same mentality and it goes over and over again. And then we have this vicious cycles over and over again happening. Non-stop. Because people are afraid to leave. That's all it comes down to. Some people don't want to leave. And that includes their home. That includes their hometown. That includes relationships. That includes jobs. That includes the way they eat. That includes the way they consume anything. They don't want to leave. They don't want to let go of their label. Because they have to recreate themselves. And it's like, I don't understand why is it so hard for you to let things go? When it's really not that hard. Life is very beautiful, Be passionate about it. Like, love your life. Enjoy the fucking crap out of it. Don't be one of those people who, just wanders around the world and doesn't really know what they're supposed to do. Right? Because, again, you have no guidance. You have no purpose. Purposeless soul is not useful on earth. It doesn't do any good. It's not useful anywhere, really. You're just wandering around lost in an abyss. You're not going to get anything accomplished. You're going to be here forever, stuck. Because you don't want to listen. A lot of people don't want to listen because they're constantly stimulating themselves to the point that they don't have time to sit down and process information. And by processing information, you can hear. You can hear where your information is wrong, where it's right, or where you need to edit it. Because sometimes you're not completely wrong. Sometimes you're just you're on the right path, you're just running at the wrong speed. Or walking in a wrong pace. Or even looking the wrong way. That you miss what the whole point of the walk was. Because you're facing down looking at your phone. Not even paying attention to the purpose. So what we call the great awakers, the prophets and all these other people, it's people who sit down and think. Thinkers. And not the negative thinkers, because there's a lot of negative thinkers out there who are telling you positive thoughts. The point is to think positive. That's the whole point of this. Think positive. Do great things. Love people. Like love. Stop going against the world with, a part of you that hates. But there's a lot of people who function on hate. Strictly hate. If they have love in their life, they die. That's insane. Just sit down and think about it. If people have love in their life, they die. Because they don't know their body's not designed for that. So again, the more you read, because reading is so important for us. Read. Because if you hear it from somebody else, information gets lost. Because what they get from that phrase, sometimes it's not what you're going to get because that's not how it works. Sometimes you need to read so you could feel it, so you can understand it, so you could actually process the data. Stop being afraid to process data. Like, you can't pick and choose when information comes inside. Like, you can't just have time to be like, okay, only bother me from 1 p.m. to 2 p.m. because that's all the time I have for you. But you have time to do other stupid shit. To me, that's pretty weird that humans still live like this in the 21st century. Especially because of everything we have. People not really... Struggle shouldn't be the way it is. Right? We shouldn't be struggling to the level that we're struggling at the moment because people are too fucking greedy. And we accept it, and we have to be okay with it. Hey, you're a greedy fucker, but it's okay. I know you're greedy, but I'm going to keep buying your supply of hate. Which is why? Why would you want to live in a place like that? I don't know, keep deceiving yourself, telling you you're doing something good, but in reality you're not? And then what? Then what happens? You explode. Is that what you want? I think so, people do. That's all they care for. It's the Big Bang. Bang, 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 bang. It's also the older you get, if you're growing properly, because just age doesn't mean that you're wiser, doesn't mean you're a better learner, doesn't mean you're a better listener. Some people never actually grow up, and the older you get, the more you always come to one foundation. You start to realize why certain books have been used for centuries and are still being used because they share the right knowledge. But what they did over the centuries too is that they made the book a puzzle. It's intentionally made into a puzzle because not everybody is supposed to get the signs. And that's when it starts getting interesting. And that's when you have age and all these other things kick in, right? Because everything's supposed to happen in a certain time frame. The whole point of time itself. It gives leeway for the creator to decide when you're ready to understand something. There's a lot of folks out there that read, but they don't understand why they're reading. If you don't understand what you're reading, you're just seeing words. You're just seeing letters in front of you. You're seeing symbols. That's all you're getting out of it. A symbol. And if you don't know what the symbol means, you're not doing anything in life. You're literally not doing anything in life. You're just another speck of dust in the universe. But it's also interesting that we're so small, but yet people's ego and pride is so big that it's insane. At least to me, it's insane. Like, your ego cannot be so big or you let it take over your life. That's when it becomes scary. People who are literally willing to give their ego the controls. They're 100% willing to do that. No problem, no second thoughts, no wondering, no nothing. It's just fuck it. The ego takes the fucking steering wheel and I'm just gonna hit a cruise control. And whatever happens, happens. And I'm okay with it. That's scary. Because those are the folks that created governments, created all these leaders, quote unquote. But these leaders, we deep down know, are not leading us for our greater good. But yet we choose to follow them. For what? Because you don't have another option? How you don't have another option? There's always an option. They program you to think that it's always A or B. Blue or red. Black or white. The 1 versus the 2 or the 0 versus the 1. That's all it is. They put these ideas on you to limit your thinking. You have a finite thought, and you have a finite way of processing life. If you have a finite way to processing life, you can't really get much done. If you're not willing to learn. So finiteness. If somebody has a label and they accept it and that's all they are. The older you get, the more you open your eyes, which I hope you do, the easier things will get to explain. Like, these things that I understand, but I can't really explain them. I have to feel them. I feel it. But how do I explain that to somebody? I can't. One day. But, like I always tell you, it's purely my opinion and what I understand how things work. Take it or leave it. 100% up to you. Just don't take everything you hear with a grain of salt. Listen, study, ask others, read other books. Don't just read one side of things. You gotta read both in order for you to process everything. If you don't read both, then that means a lot of information being left out. Because, quote unquote, whoever writes the story wins. You think. That story gets told for over thousands of years or whatever it is, we don't know the other side.